Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hawaii Night and the Fever Stadium for a night's game between the visiting Knights of Rio Linda High School and your Placer Hillman. Placer's won the toss but has deferred, so they will kick off to start your ball game. The Knights are coached by head coach Jeff Freeman. He's assisted by Levi Loughlin, Billy Musgrave, Ralph Quijada, and Alan Zoldos. Placer High School coached by assistants Eric Bernardi, Paul Waka, Craig Kelly, Eric Egan, Dennis Murphy, Dean Pedramonico, and your head coach, Joey Montoya.
Give me a K. Yay! Give me an A. A. Give me an H. H. Give me an I. I. What's that spell? KAHI. Go Hillman!
Welcome back to the Fever Stadium as the Placer Hillmen take to the field. A little different look tonight than their normal green jerseys and green pants. Tonight they'll have green helmets, green jerseys, white pants, and they'll be kicking off to the Rio Linda Knights, who come out with black helmets, white jerseys, white pants, their visiting attire. Again, the Hillmen 4-0 on the year, going up against Rio Linda, who's 2-2. Kickoff will be brought to you by Auburn Trophies. You can find Auburn Trophies at auburntrophies.com. And here we go, Phantom. Kickoff for Week 5. Jackson Ramirez, who has a couple of touchbacks and some good PATs and has done a really good job for the special teams for the Hillmen, which could be big as you start to look at league play and you start to think about the playoffs potentially.
Yeah, kicking game is always really important, and he has come through as he did in the second half of last season, Scott, and really been a positive for the Hillmen so far this season.
And we are underway. The kick is off, and it is going to bounce in the end zone, and high school can't take it out, so that'll be a touchback. So we will see the Rio Linda Knights come out on offense first. They'll be led by quarterback number 19, Francisco Bonilla. Bonilla, again, as Phantom alluded to a little bit earlier, getting his first start. He does have 2 passing touchdowns and an interception. This offense as a whole is averaging 145 yards a game on the ground, just 20 yards per game through the air. So really a one-dimensional attack. I talked to Coach Montoya before the game. I said, Coach Freeman described this more of as a zone gap scheme, and he said, no, there's a lot of pistol power run plays. They're going to be pulling guards, pulling tackles. So we'll see what happens. Bonilla sets up in the pistol look. High snap on the first snap, goes over his head, and he's in trouble. He feels it at the 1, and that's where they're going to mark it. But that is a disastrous way to start things off as they lose 19 yards on the first play.
Yeah, you mentioned that they are 145 yards on the ground. Mostly Anthony Grahn is the guy that gets the yardage for Rio Linda, so I'm sure that's one thing that the Hillmen are going to do is try to make them one-dimensional, but obviously key on Anthony Grahn. But that's not the way you want to start out your first start as a quarterback, is to get the snap over your head.
And brings up a 2nd and 28. Ball is spotted at the 2-yard line. Actually, at the 1-yard line. They'll go from a short pistol, 2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver left. They turn, they give it up to Gron, who you just talked about. He's able to get upfield for about 2 or 3 yards, moves it up to about the 5-yard line to give Rio Linda a little bit of breathing room, but this will bring up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, we talked about them before the game. They just want to try to get their footing, and they put themselves in such a hole there. Now they come out here on a 3rd down with about 25 to go, and I would surmise they're going to run another running play, try to get some kind of rhythm going, and between the quarterback and the center.
First snap was high, was over the quarterback's head. The quarterback did a good job athletically of just getting back there. Bonilla falling on it and not even taking a safety. So here they are, 3rd and 25. Ball is spotted at the 5-yard line. Rio Linda is going left to right on your radio dial towards the scoreboard side. Bonilla turns, gives it inside to Gron again. Gron met at about the 7-yard line. He takes it out to the 10, and just like you said, Phantom, the real design there was just to try to give some breathing room for their punting unit, and Placer's defense is held. They force a 3-and-out, and now there will be a punt.
Yeah, and really, they might take something from that first series. They ran 2 running plays after they got in the big hole, and they both made about 4 or 5 yards, so that's respectable. And they can tell themselves when they go to the sidelines, look, everything is working fine. We just got to make sure we don't put ourselves in that big hole. And on the other side, the Hillmen have done exactly what they needed to do in this first series.
So the punter standing on the E and the Placer in the end zone. He gets the kickoff. It's a pretty good one. Return is fielded at about the 40. And he's got a great lane, and that is great job on the return all the way down. That's Dash Tebbs all the way down to the 10. So he takes the spot of what is normally Isaiah Hanley. Thanks for that, Phantom. Fielded at about the 40, takes it down to about the 10, and that's where the Hillmen will take over.
Excuse me, Scott. I saw something I hadn't seen. He was going down the sidelines. There was a defender on the 20 who just fell down for no apparent reason, and Tebbs just went, okay, thank you, and then came going to the 10. So obviously a good punt, as you mentioned, by the Rio Linda punter out of his own end zone. But the coverage a little bit late, and Tebbs able to get around the corner.
So the Placer-Hillman offense will come out. They'll have the ball on the left hash, their own 10-yard line. They cannot get a first down, so it'll be 1st and goal. Dash Tebbs fielded it on the 40, had a 30-yard return all the way down the sidelines. As you mentioned, it's never helpful if a defender falls down. No. Good kick, poor coverage. Craycraft breaks, turns, gives it to Baylor Kelly. Keller's got the edge. Touchdown Hillman. That didn't take long. One play, one run, touchdown Hillman. They lead 6-0.
Yeah, and if you want to establish the line of scrimmage is all yours, I think they've done it pretty well on that first play. Kelly actually slowed down to let his blockers have time to get out in front of him, and he was barely touched on his way to the right corner of the end zone.
I'm going to say he went untouched, and they ran right behind Xander Esty, obviously on the right side there. So with 9:29 to play here in the first quarter, Placer takes a quick 6-0 lead with Jackson Ramirez on for the extra point. Max Joyner will hold, and he's done a good job of holding this year. Snap is back, kick is up, and it is good. And just like that, Placer kicks off. They do exactly what they want, Phantom. They win the toss, they defer, they kick it deep, they force the punt, get a great special teams play, and then score in one play.
Yeah, offensively, you ran one play, scored a touchdown, and then we talk about cleaning things up, that kicking game. You always want to keep that sharp, get the precision on it, and that time everything. The snap was good, the hold was good, the kick was good. So, yeah, out of the first, 2 minutes and 31 seconds, they got exactly what they wanted.
Baylor Kelly, number 11, 52nd carry of the season for his 6th touchdown. He's had 2 games alone where he's been over 100 yards. One of the more impressive things has been the balance that Placer's offense has had. They've averaged 281 yards per game on the ground, 171 through the air, 452 yards a game, something Coach Joey Montoya has to be very happy with as he calls the plays. And this kickoff is brought to you by AuburnTrophies.com. As you know, Auburn Trophies is located at 1221 Grass Valley Highway in the Fiddler Green Plaza.
Yes, it is.
Kick is fielded at about the 5. Coming up on the other end is Anthony Gron, the running back, but he doesn't have a lot of space to go to, and he's taken down at about the 11-yard line, and that's where Rio Linda will take over for their second possession.
So far, Placer's had every play they've gone out to play, they've done exactly what they wanted to do on that play. Fantastic coverage by the kick team right there.
They've had 3 special teams plays, let's face it. They had a great return, a kick in the end zone for a touchback, and good coverage right there. Defense did what they needed to do, and then the offense. They've really, if you were a pitcher, you're 3 innings in, you're pitching a shutout. So
really looking good.
Ball spotted on the left hash. 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Bonilla takes the snap. Fires a quick look down the sidelines. A little bit of miscommunication as that falls incomplete. Looked like that pass was intended to tight end number 44, Jaden Cox. It looked like Bonilla thought he was going to stop at the sticks. Cox kept running down the field, and that pass falls incomplete.
Yeah, he threw a pass to a pattern that was not executed by his wide receiver. It'll be interesting to see what Rio Linda does as far as the pass-run combination, what kind of proportion they'll have. They fall behind 7-0 quickly here.
First pass of the game for Bonilla falls incomplete. He's 0 for 1. They come out on a pistol look. Ball's on the left hash. This time they give it to Gron. Gron inside. He's met in the backfield and taken down. That's a tackle for loss. A great defensive play, and that's Colin Bray, who's been doing it all season. Colin Bray comes into this game with 18 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, so I'll go ahead and pencil in a 5th one right there.
Yeah, and the thing is I don't think the numbers have reflected how good Colin has played this year. He has been a force even on plays he doesn't make. He's been a force defensively, and he's been the guy who's, I think, led that Hillman defense.
So 3rd and 11 again. Second time Rio Linda is in a position they don't want to be against the sticks. They have 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Receiver goes in motion. They give it to him on the spread sweep play, but he actually gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like number 11 was the runner there, but he's taken.
Gron.
That's Gron. He was lined up in the slot. They've sent him in motion, and he gets tackled for a loss. And for the second possession, they go 3 and out.
Yeah, that was one of the play. I think they were trying to do a little misdirection, but the play took so long to develop. By the time he handed it off to Gron, I think half the Placer line was following Gron, and I think he is a marked man anyway, and that play just made it worse.
So 2 offensive series, and they've gone negative direction. That's a low snap. Punter does a good job at just getting it off, and this time Tebbs is just going to get away from it as the ball settles in around the 39-yard line in Rio Linda territory, and that's where Placer will take over with 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
As you mentioned, excellent job by the punter. Had to scoop that one up, a one-hopper back to it, handled it like a shortstop and got rid of it. And that time, the kick was a little bit not as good as his first kick, so Tebbs could not make a play on it, just let it roll dead.
Kick might not have been as good, but the result was a lot better as Placer starts off at the 39 on the right hash, their second offensive possession. Their first one, they went one play for 10 yards, and Kelly took it around the edge for a touchdown. This time Craycraft will drop back to pass. Throws it out into the flat, kind of underthrows his receiver, but coming back to make a nice catch on the play. Kiefer Abbs is a receiver there, the sophomore, 5'11", 155, in for Isaiah Hanley this week, and he does a nice job of making the catch, and that moves the sticks, another first down.
Yeah, I think Kiefer got a touchdown in that game down in San Jose. It was interesting to look at Placer. They only had one back behind Craycraft that time, so we'll see if they're coming out in a different formation this time as well.
Craycraft sends Kelly in motion, turns, goes back to pass again. This time he's looking for Kelly in the flat, and that pass falls incomplete. Had he happened to look deep, he would have seen a Maxwell standing at the goal line wide open.
I think that play was preordained. He knew where he wanted to go, and Rio Linda's just trying to stay in this one, so they get an incomplete pass. They get to rest a little bit, so that's all good for them.
Tell you what, the Rio Linda front got a pretty good push there. They are putting 5 men on the line of scrimmage. I think what they're doing is daring Placer, you're going to beat us, you're going to have to do it through the air. It looks like that might be what their approach is. 2nd and 10. Craycraft turns, gives it up inside. That's Costa Alexic. Alexic breaks the tackle at the 15, breaks the tackle at the 2, and goes into the end zone for a touchdown as Costa Alexic has now scored his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And before you know it, with 7:25 to go here in the first quarter, it is Placer 13, Rio Linda nothing.
Big hole for Costa Alexic. He's the second man through to get that one. Then he picks and chooses. We talked about it before, Scott. He's really good at setting up his blockers to get them to go exactly where he wants them to go. He did that, and he did the last 10 yards himself for this touchdown.
So that drive was 4 plays, actually 3 plays. They went 37 yards. They tried 2 passes, 1 complete, 1 incomplete, and then turned and gave it to Costa Alexic, who takes it into the end zone. Snap is down, kick is up, it is good, and with 7:25 to go here in the first quarter, it is all Placer. They're 4-0 on the season. They lead this one 14-0.
Yeah, and then Rio Linda's facing a real crisis now. They're coming out for their third try. They're trying not to make a mistake to put them in negative yardage, but they've got to come out and they've got to make some kind of play here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go to the air once again.
When you go to the air, I mean, let's face it, their first possession, the very first play goes over Bonilla's head. They end up against the sticks. They run a couple times and have to punt. Then they try an incomplete pass on their next possession. They run the ball twice and they go negative yards. So they have negative yards on the first two possessions. I think if you're them, you really just look to try to get a first down.
Well, a lot of times you'll see a team will have a guy that will mark the best player on the opposing team. I think Gron has about 3 guys marking him right now, and it's the most of the Placer defensive line.
Jackson Ramirez on for the kick. This kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. You can find them online at auburntrophies.com. There's Jackson Ramirez's kick. It is fielded by Gron, the player you just discussed. He has a pretty good return, gets up to about the 20-yard line, and that is where, on the left hash, where Rio Linda will take over for their third time here in the first quarter.
You know, we talked with Coach Freeman, Scott, about, you asked him, and I thought it was a real good question. You said, hey, if you guys are in this game in the fourth quarter, what is going to be the thing that's going to stand out? And he mentioned the offensive line. Well, right now, if that's what he wants to stand out, if that's what he says is the key, the high point of his ball club, they've got to step up right now. And they are setting, as we said before, they're setting the tone for the rest of their season tonight. So they've got to come out and make some kind of statement here.
Yeah, they start league next week as well, too.
Absolutely.
He was hoping that they went into the league with a 3-2 or even a 4-1 record at 2-2, so he wants to get something going tonight. One receiver set left, one right. They're in the pistol formation. Bonilla goes back to pass. He's under pressure. He steps up. He throws downfield. Pass falls incomplete. He threw behind his intended receiver. Looked like he was heading downfield. He had a couple receivers in the route, but he threw behind him.
Well, it looked like, first of all, it looked like he could have run. Secondly, I thought he was over the line of scrimmage. And then thirdly, he had a guy out in the flat early on in that route that was open. So if I'm that guy, I'm going back and tell him, hey, look my way right away, because there was nobody following me in the flat.
I think you're starting to see that this is Bonilla's his first start. And a lot of the things that you talked about, pocket presence and where you are, but he did a nice job of releasing it there. 2nd and 10. This time 2 backs in the backfield. Bonilla's right in front of him. 2 receivers set left, 1 to the right. He's going to give it. It looks like it's up inside. Daniel Rio. And Rio was met at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like he actually lost 2 yards.
Yeah, it seems like, Scott, maybe the defensive line of Placer, someone got in their ear before the game and kind of challenged them a little bit, because they're coming out not just playing well, but they are just every snap they're getting penetration into the backfield. I don't think they've got a guy to the line of scrimmage in the last 4 or 5 rushing attempts.
3rd and 12, and to your point, that's where you give all the credit to a head coach, Joey Montoya. They know they should probably win this game, but they are playing like every snap matters. Bonilla lines up in the shotgun. 2 receivers set left. Play action. This time he rolls a little bit right, throws it underneath. The pass is broken up, incomplete. Josh Maxwell, the middle linebacker, knocking it away, and it'll bring up a 4th and 12, and 3 possessions. It looks like 3 quick punts for Rio Linda.
I don't want to show off in front of you, Scott, but Josh Maxwell is ubiquitous, if I may say that, which means he's everywhere. The guy is absolutely everywhere. I know. I didn't want to throw that on you in the first. You can get to your phone. You can look that up. But as we talked about him in the pregame, he has done everything on both sides of the ball for the Hillman so far this season.
I was just noting the time, 7:48. The first time tonight I've heard the term ubiquitous.
Yes,
Thank you.
It won't be the last.
Well, I'll be overwhelmed if you do that. Thank you. 6:23 to play. Snap is back. Kick is up, and it is. This time it bounces off the back of the head. Tebbs came up to field it. He got out of the way, and it actually hit the tight end, Jaden Cox, and that's where Placer will take over right around the P on the Placer, right in the middle of the field, right around the 46-yard line. All 3 of their possessions have started inside Rio Linda territory.
Yeah, and I don't think that Coach Freeman, when we talked to him, envisioned a world where halfway through the first quarter he's already punted 3 times.
No, you'd think he'd hope he'd get his big scheme was try to run it a little bit, try to control some clock, try to get some first downs, win the field position battle. So far they haven't gotten first downs, they haven't been able to run the ball effectively, and they haven't won the field position battle. This time Craycraft drops back to pass. He's under a little bit of pressure, and he's going to go down. It will not be recorded as a sack as he picked up 3 yards. 2 receivers in the route, but he gets quick pressure, and he's taken down on the defensive side, and it is Daniel Rio on the stop.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. That has been the highlight so far of the game for Rio Linda. Their defensive line is getting a lot of penetration on those pass plays, and that's along with their punter. That's kind of been the bright spot.
You know, if you're Joey Montoya, you know you can pretty much run the way you want to, and he's going to take it'll be a timeout. Timeout taken by Rio Linda. We'll go ahead and take a timeout with them. With 5:35 to go here in the first quarter, Placer-Hillman 14, Rio Linda Knights nothing. You're listening to Placer Football on 104.5 FM and AM 950, the voice of the Foothills.
You're listening to Friday Night Football in the Foothills on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI.
First down give. This time Craycraft turns and gives it to Jaden Suggs, his second carry of the night. He picks up all the way down to the 35, and that's a first down. So 1st and 10 for the Hillman. Ball is set at the 35-yard line, right hash. Hillman are going right to left on your radio dial. They break the huddle quickly, a little bit of tempo. They give it to Kelly. Kelly's got a little bit of room, and he's down to close to first down yardage as well in the second play.
Again, 4, 5, 6 yards before he's contacted by a member of the Rio Linda defensive line. So running the ball, like I said, I like to see Jaden Suggs get a couple up the middle, and they gave him one. He made a nice gain, and then Kelly does the same.
The only contact he had was running into green jerseys, and then eventually was brought down 1 yard short of the first down. Hillman break the huddle. Craycraft steps back to pass on 2nd and short. He's throwing it to the corner of the end zone. He's got a man. He's open. He makes the catch. We've got a touchdown, Hillman. Looks like number 13, Arthur Kernax, who actually makes the catch. Kernax on the year with only 2 catches, but there ran a straight fly route. And I tell you what, on 2nd and 1, I like Joey Montoya putting a little bit of a pass play on tape. Great throw, great catch, and a touchdown for the Hillman.
Yeah, Craycraft had a guy so wide open. I think he put a little bit extra air underneath that one, Scott, just because he didn't want to mess it up because he had Kernax wide open in the corner of the end zone.
4:32 to go, first quarter. Placer-Hillman 20. Jackson Ramirez on for the extra point. Max Joyner to hold. Snap is back, kick is down, ball is up, and it is good. So 3 possessions that all start in Rio Linda territory are all converted into touchdowns. A Baylor Kelly touchdown run, a Costa Alexa touchdown run, and a pass from Josh Craycraft. That is his 6th touchdown of the season. And very early, this has gotten out of hand in favor of the Placer-Hillman.
It really has, but you know, you're looking at what Placer's doing offensively, and it's really, we talked about Rio Linda trying to plan for the rest of the season. It really looks like the Hillmen are doing the same because they're throwing the ball and throwing it in different ways, different patterns and stuff, different routes, and of course Kernax there with the open touchdown catch, but they're doing a lot of different things with their passing game, trying to improve it and get it going for later on in the season.
Well, 2 reasons. You want to put it on tape, and they just came off a bye, so it gives them a chance to self-scout and see what they want to put in.
Yep.
So Jackson Ramirez is on. This will be the 4th time he's kicked. 4:32 to go here in the first quarter. All kickoffs are brought to you by Auburn Trophies. You can find them at auburntrophies.com online, and that one goes through the end zone. 2nd touchback, and so they will take off at the 20-yard line.
And this is a situation where Rio Linda, with 4:32 left in the first quarter, like you say, Scott, they've got to go ahead and strike a blow for freedom, if you will. They've got to go ahead and show they belong in this game because so far it's been a steamroll.
There are no 21-point plays, Phantom, as you know. One of the things you need to do is you just need to get a couple first downs. You need to have something. So far they have gone in the negative direction on all 3 of their offensive possessions. They want to have something to build on to go into the next quarter and the halftime and move forward. We'll see what they can do here. Ball is at the 20-yard line, center of the field, 2 receivers left, 1 receiver to the right. They give it to Gron. Gron gets hit in the backfield, and he's actually Miguel Rio is the carrier, and he is hit in the backfield. He's going to lose yardage on that play. Lost 1 yard.
Yeah, again, I think 4 or 5 plays in a row now where the Placer defense has got a hand on the running back before he's got back to the line of scrimmage. And I think Bonilla just wants to go ahead and go get a little bit of room, get a little bit of breathing room, so he has some room to throw the ball.
That run is designed to set up the pass to try to give him some time. But I tell you what, the Placer-Hillman defensive front is just making such strides defensively. This time they put Anthony Gron in motion. He's right next to the quarterback. Bonilla play action. He throws it downfield, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off coming back the other way. Looks like Dominique Laidlaw. The safety comes up from his defensive spot, and the Hillmen are going to take off. Check that. That looks like... Who made the play, Phantom? I got it. It's Carson Young.
Carson Young, you said.
There we go.
You said earlier, gives him a chance. Hanley not being in the lineup gives Carson a chance to shine. That one overthrown by Bonilla, still trying to find his gauge out there as a passer. Overthrew a guy down the middle, and Carson behind him scooped it up and came back about 5-10 yards with the return.
I saw the zero. I thought it was Dominic Laidlaw, but then Carson Young is the one getting all the celebratory handshakes on the sideline. So that's his first interception of the season. So the Hillmen again pick up in advantageous territory. They start off on the 35-yard line in Rio Linda territory. Craycraft, play action. They're throwing again. He's going to throw the ball deep. Flag is down on the play. Baylor Kelly makes one heck of an adjustment and makes the catch, but I think this one might be coming back. There's a penalty flag down on the play. The ball was thrown. Baylor Kelly was actually covered well. He did a nice job of ducking underneath the safety for the catch. And scratch that, I do not see a flag on the field. I thought the ref threw one, but it's 27-0.
Yeah, as you say, great adjustment as the ball is in the air. And I think Craycraft, as you said, they're putting stuff on tape. They're trying stuff. He's kind of letting the arm kind of get loose, kind of get limber, and just threw it down there and let Kelly make the play. And Kelly, as he has all season, made the play.
Baylor Kelly with his second touchdown. He has one on the ground, one through the air. Second touchdown pass of the night for Craycraft as they turn the interception into points. This time Jackson Ramirez nails the extra point, and it's good. And with 3:35 to go here in the first quarter, Phantom, it is Placer Hillman 28 and Rio Linda nothing. Not only that, they have not converted a first down yet.
Yeah, and as you said, I think 35, 39, 39, and 45 is the four starting spots on the plus side for Placer in the 4 touchdown drives. And I really think they're out there as far as the passing game is concerned, kind of just trying stuff out. Some of these routes we haven't seen almost all season long. So they're out there and they're trying it, and they are giving Josh Craycraft some time to throw, and he's putting the ball up there, and good results so far for the Hillmen.
To your point, that was Arthur Kernak's first touchdown reception of the season, and Baylor Kelly, who's usually their speed runner or their route runner out in the flat, on that one actually runs a post route. It does a great job, the sophomore, of adjusting around the safety and pulling that in. So Jackson Ramirez is on for the 5th time tonight. He's got 2 touchbacks. This kickoff is brought to you, as all are, by AuburnTrophies.com. Auburn Trophies, they can be found at 1221 Grass Valley Highway in the Fiddler Green Plaza. This one is fielded at the 5, and good coverage that time by the Placer Hillman. They bring him down about the 15.
Yeah, another good job by the Hillman kicking team, and they have been exemplary all season long, but all night long as Ramirez keeps driving the ball. If it's not in the end zone, it's down around the 5 or the goal line, so it gives his team plenty of time to cover.
28-0, 3:28 to go. It has been all Hillman in every facet of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. Jeff Freeman, the head coach in his first season, looking to his offensive coordinator, Ralph Quijada, who will be calling the plays. And at this point, Rio Linda does not have a first down yet. You think you got to crawl, walk, run. They want to get a couple first downs and try to change this field position complexion.
Yeah, and if Bonilla's going to be your guy going forward, you got to get him, as you said before, some little victories, some small victories to build up to.
Bonilla will operate out of the pistol. Solo receivers to the right. Both tight ends are in, and it looks like Rio Linda's going to take a timeout. So we'll keep it here for just a minute. They take their second timeout in the first quarter, and so far, to your point, Phantom, you're seeing some things out of Placer that we like to see up front on both sides of the ball, but offensively, some different wrinkles than we've seen before.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Scotty, against Vista Del Lago, one of the plays that really worked for them was Costa Alexic coming out of the backfield, and he was there 3 or 4 times by Josh Craycraft. We didn't see the play that we saw tonight where Kelly is just sent downfield kind of like on a fly pattern. So they're trying out new things, and you've got these great running backs with Alexic and with Kelly. So, yeah, you want to utilize them in any way you can, and they really are trying to find ways to get them the ball.
You also get a sense that anybody who's wearing a green uniform with white pants tonight is going to get an opportunity to get in the game. And you can't discount that because They just came off a bye week, but they practiced last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, normal time. Then they had their normal game preparation this week. They had the same situation against Silver Creek where they got a lot of people, a lot of reps, and quality reps in the game.
Yeah, good reps. And then I talked to Joey, during the coaches show, and he was really happy with the way the team practiced during the bye week. So this is kind of a fruition coming out of that from that bye week practice.
Linebacker blitz this time. Bonilla throws, he rushes it, throws it over the head. They tried a quick wide receiver screen. They put Grant out there, number 11 out there. It goes over his head. Ball falls incomplete, 2nd and 10.
We talk about it all the time. We've talked about it with all the Placer quarterbacks. We talk about it with every quarterback. You got to get a couple of completions to get your feet on the ground. It's even more important, of course, for Bonilla, who's making his first career start. That's what they're trying to get him. I think they're calling the plays to try to get that. They just haven't been able to execute it, and some of the pressure from the Hillman defensive line is part of that.
And I think you're seeing the fact that they moved two people who from skill position to the offensive line now going up against a very good defensive front. 15-yard line, Bonilla takes the snap. This time he throws. It is complete out in the flat. Stopped after a pickup of about 5 or 6. It looks like Max Joyner on the stop. That's his first completion of the night. That'll bring up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, and if you're the coach on that one, Scott, you just go, yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want you to do, and go ahead and try to build on that. You get that completion. It looked nice. It was a nice little down-and-out pattern. It was pretty easy to complete, and that's what they did, and that's why it's in there. So they're going to just try to build on that and do it again.
Jonathan Lara on the reception. Ball spotted at the 22. Brings up a 3rd and 4. 2:50 to play here in the first quarter. Rio Linda with the ball. Right hash. 2 receivers set to the left. They're going left to right on your radio dial. And they're visiting black jerseys and black helmets and white jerseys. This time they throw the pass out. Nice adjustment by the receiver in the slot who makes the catch out about the 34. And Rio Linda has picked up their first down. That looks like number 12, Waylon Morgan, one of their wide receivers, and that was a nice job. That ball was thrown slightly behind him, but he catches it, and that's Rio Linda's first down of the night.
Yeah, you want to keep completing those short passes, but when you throw them over the middle like that, there's a lot of bodies in the way, and as you mentioned, Morgan made a nice adjustment, and Bonilla's got himself back-to-back completions for the first time all game.
2:13 to play here in the first quarter. Placer leads at 28-0. Bonilla will operate from the shotgun. Motion man goes from left to right. He rolls right, throws, and that pass is broken up nicely. The intended receiver was Waylon Morgan. Defending it on the play for Placer was Mitchell Trinka from his linebacker spot.
Yeah, and if the Hillmen know that they're going to pass, they're going to go ahead and send those front four, and then everybody in the back is going to kind of play center field. That's what Trinka did right there. He almost broke on that one and took it away.
The problem for Rio Linda is Placer's able to get great pressure with just their front four, so if they do go to a short passing game, their linebackers are able to go into their drop zones pretty well. 2nd and 10, ball spotted on the left hash. 2 receivers left, 1 man in the slot, solo receiver to the right. Motion from left to right, and that'll be Waylon Morgan. Bonilla back to pass again. This time he throws quickly over the middle, and it is through the hands of Waylon Morgan, the receiver, and it looked like he threw a little bit high and a little bit hard. Could have been another first down, but it falls incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit high, a little bit hard. Should have been caught, I think, on that one. You got to go ahead. You got a quarterback who's doing his first start. You got to bail him out and make the catches on that play. But the encouraging thing for Rio Linda is that pattern was open. He was open in the middle of the field there for the first down.
Yeah, you got a quarterback under duress there. You figure you got to bail him out and make the catch. It's not going to be perfect every time. So 3rd and 10. 1 receiver right, 1 left. Each in the slot. Turns, throws. This time it's behind. It's actually tipped and completed to Jaden Sparrow. Sparrow picks up the first down. They're going to spot him all the way up to the 47-yard line. The initial ball was batted by Francisco Bonilla. He knocked it in the air, a la Mark Bavaro to Phil McConkey knocked forward there. Half the audience has no idea who I'm talking about, but they picked up a first down.
I don't think you know who that one ended up in the hands of Marcus Martin right there, and got a first down. I guess what you need when you got your first start, you need a little luck too.
They got 2 first down, Phantom.
There you go.
Bonilla's completed 4 passes on this drive. 1:38 to go in the first quarter. Placer leads at 28-0. Ball spotted on the right hash. Bonilla checks his wristband for the plays. He's got 2 running backs behind him. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. He turns, he gives it to 1. And it looks like Mil Rio again, and he is maybe got back to the line of scrimmage and got a yard, maybe, but they've run that play twice and really haven't gotten much yardage out of it.
Yeah, props to the Hillman defense. They faced a bunch of passing barrage, and they were still able to adjust as they tried to catch him off guard and run it. Now I think we've got a penalty flag.
Flag on the play.
Oh, no, unsportsmanlike conduct on the Hillman. That is not something that Coach Eric Rodardi or Joey Montoya are going to like. I don't know who it was on, but a 15-yard penalty, and a drive that started at their own 15 for Rio Linda is now very promising down in Hillman territory at the 37. They still trail this 28-0 with a minute to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, the first quarter that hasn't given Hillman coaches too much to yell about. That definitely will get seized on, a careless mistake like that, giving away those 15 yards.
Well, 15-yard penalties, and we've talked about in some of the games, these penalties have really
been huge,
been big. 1st and 10, ball is at the 37, middle of the field. Bonilla is in the backfield all by himself. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Running back Mil Rio comes back and joins him. He turns, fakes it to him, throws a quick slant, and it is incomplete. And the receiver over there was Jackson. Jackson actually ran an out, and Bonilla thought he was running a slant. It almost ended up in an interception.
Absolutely, Scotty. He threw the ball where he thought the receiver was going to be, and the receiver went totally the other way, and they are lucky they don't have an interception. But I was kind of impressed with Bonilla in a way in his first start. He seems to have a sense of what's supposed to be going on out there. He's moving guys around and everything. So if I had to take a guess, I would say it was the receiver that made the wrong read there. But kind of impressed with Bonilla. It's a tough situation for a first-time starter.
Well, as a former quarterback, so was the receiver's fault.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah. I was only TV, though.
2nd and 10. Ball's on the 37. This time Bonilla lines up in the pistol. He turns, gives it to the running back. Running back's got a little bit of open field. He'll take it all the way down to the 30. And the Rio Linda offense for the first time seems to be clicking on their 5th possession here in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was probably the best running play. Got about 7 yards on that one. And like you mentioned, I wasn't used to seeing the ball carrier get the ball and have any daylight around him. There was some daylight right there, so the Knights kind of putting together a nice drive here.
That will probably be the last play of the first quarter, one in which the Placer Hillman had the ball 4 times, all inside the Knight territory, and they converted them all to touchdowns. And that will wrap up the first quarter. So at the end of 1, it is Placer 28 and the Rio Linda Knights nothing. We'll go ahead and take a quick break with them. You're listening to Placer Football on 104.5 FM and AM 950, the voice of the Foothills.
This is your home for Friday Night Football in the Foothills, 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI.
28-0 as we start the second quarter, but Rio Linda is threatening. This drive started at their own 15. They now have switched ends. They'll go right to left. They've got a 3rd and 4 on the 31 in Placer Hillman territory. Scott Gordon alongside Mark Phantom Lowe. And what started out as an all-Placer attack, they lead at 28-0. Rio Linda now, no question, this is 4-down territory here on 3rd and 4. Bonilla works from the pistol. He's in the shotgun on the right hash. Quick throw out to the side, and he throws behind Jackson in short. Jackson was on the wide side, ran a quick out, and the ball fell about 5 yards before him. I think, again, Bonilla was hoping he curled up right there, as he had plenty of room had he curled up.
Yeah, they didn't need a lot of yards for a first down. As you said, 3rd and 4, and I think that Bonilla thought the guy was going to run a six-yard out, but turned into a 12-yard out, and that is not a recipe for success.
It's also a tough throw. The ball's on the right hash to run an out route all the way to the wide side of the field. Regardless, it brings up a 4th down, and Bonilla will work from the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right. That's the short side of the field. 3 to the left. Mil Rio will come back and join him. He's the running back. They turn fake to him. Blitz is going to come and it's going to get him and take him down. And he tries to throw it away, but they're going to say he was down there. If a flag drops, and it does, that will be intentional grounding, 15 yards on a loss of down. Regardless, the Hillmen are going to take over close to midfield.
And, that was a play where Hillman, they don't have a lot to play for right now in this game. And pretty much the die has been cast. But that's a play where it's 4th and 4, and you got to come out and you got to make a play. And I'm sure they were challenged. They blitzed into safety. He came in from the left side of the quarterback and ran him down easily.
Eric Rodarty dialing up a blitz for just the second time tonight. Both times worked. One forced an interception there, forcing the intentional grounding penalty on the 4th down. So that will result not only on getting the ball at the 30, it'll be 15 yards. And now the Hillmen will take it over on the 42-yard line for the first time tonight in Rio Linda territory.
Yeah, I would think that there wouldn't be a penalty on that play, because I would think that they would say he was already in the grasp and already down when he tried to throw the ball away. And I think that's why they haven't marched off anything. I did see the flag come up, but I think they might have picked it up.
I think it's a spot penalty, so that's where they'll pick it up. They turn, they give it to Baylor Kelly. Kelly pursued on the backside, turns the corner. He's going to get thrown down at about the 47-yard line. He's up close to first down territory.
Good job by Rio Linda. I want to give credit to number 44, Jaden Cox, who was the guy who was pursuing him all the way around. There was a couple of linebackers who didn't want anything to do with Baylor Kelly, but Cox chased him all the way around and finally got the stop.
Cox, the senior defensive end and tight end. And one thing, you look at the Rio Linda sidelines, they're not very deep, don't carry a lot of players, so a lot of their guys go both ways. This time Craycraft turns, gives it to the second man through. It looks like it's Max Joyner on the carry. Check that. It's actually Landon Fowler, the running back, and he picks up a short gain of just a yard.
Yeah, we saw Landon in the game in San Jose, came in and played some safety and got some carries at running back, so not surprised to see him in the lineup right now, but thought they were going to give the ball off to my guy Suggs on that when the first guy threw. He hit a little bit of a hole there.
Fowler in motion. They fake it. They give it to Baylor Kelly on the inside reverse. Kelly continues to break tackles, and he was stopped short of the first down but broke a couple extra tackles. Finally brought down at the 35. That'll be a Placer Hillman first down.
Yeah, and if you're Rio Linda, Scott, I mean, there's a lot of things you can't really control, and I think we might have a penalty. There's a lot of things you can't control, but one thing you can get your guys to do is tackle. Baylor Kelly bounced off about 4 guys on that run, and he's an excellent running back. There's no doubt about that. But you got to have your guys wrapping up, and that's something you can talk to them about any time of the game.
Well, that's going to negate a first down run. Looks like it's going to be, I didn't see the signal. It's either a hold or an illegal chop block. Let's see what the penalty is. Regardless, it's going to move the Hillman back. It'll now be second down and 22. They'll have the ball at their 42-yard line, negating a really, really good run by Baylor Kelly, who already has 2 touchdowns in tonight's game. 10:30 to play here in the second quarter. Placer Hillman leading this one 28-0. Craycraft breaks from the huddle. 3 backs in the backfield. He play actions, steps up, throws it deep on a line, and it falls incomplete. He had a receiver wide open. That's Arthur Kernax, which would have been his second touchdown, and that's one that Craycraft's going to want back. Sometimes you throw it on a line, and sometimes you throw it with the old shape and let him run underneath it.
Yeah, but the one positive I'm going to say on that play, Scott, is you notice that Craycraft went back. He had some good protection, but he stepped up really nicely, I thought, in the pocket, gave himself a clear lane in which to see the receiver, and just as you said, overthrew him by maybe 2 yards. So, yeah, you want to get that play back, but he did a lot of good things on that play.
Great play call. This time, Craycraft play action again. Go back to a similar play. Coming out and making a heck of a catch down the side is Dash Tebbs, number 2. I think he got it, and I think he got a foot down. What a phenomenal catch. He came from his left slot all the way across the field, Good throw, better catch.
Yeah, we call that the fingertip catch. You got to get the fingertip, but it's not like baseball because you got the fingertip, but you got to get the toe tap down too. So you got the finger tap and the toe tap, and it's a great play by Tibbs.
Can you tap?
No.
Yep.
No. I can tap out.
I have absolutely no doubt with that. Okay.
In my day, saying tap meant you were going to do like Morse code, because that's how we communicated.
Yeah.
That was our Instagram.
Yep. Swipe right.
No, I never got to that.
10 minutes ago here, great connection there on 3rd and long. This time Craycraft again drops back to pass. He's under pressure, rolls around, and he's going to be taken down for the sack. And taking him down on the play is going to be the converted quarterback, Malik Lugar. And Lugar does a nice job on that first down play, and that's the first negative play that was not a penalty for the Hillman of the night.
Yeah, give credit to the lineman for Rio Linda on that one. I think Craycraft had a guy he wanted to go through right away, but the coverage was good in the flat, and he couldn't get it there. He brought it back down and tried to look for his second receiver, but they didn't give him time, and he went down and took the loss of about 8 yards, it looks like.
Very similar to Silver Creek. You get the sense that they want to throw the football, and they want to throw the football well. This time they break the huddle. They turn. They give it to Baylor Kelly. No, Costa Lexic, check that, and he has a nice pickup of about 10 yards, takes it down to about the 26-yard line. The counter play to Costa Lexic, and Alexic has the ball down. They'll have it now 3rd and about 6 to pick up the first down.
Yeah, in addition to what you were saying about that throw, and I think they want to throw, but they're getting different people involved in the game too. Like you say, Arthur Kernex, they're getting different people involved, receivers, so I think that builds the playbook again.
Baylor Kelly goes in motion. He gets it on the sweep. He runs down the field. He's got it all the way down to the 18-yard line. He'll pick up the first down. One interesting thing to watch there is Jaden Suggs was the lead blocker, and it looks like he came up a little bit limp as he jogs back to the huddle. It looks like he's a little hobbled as he was not able to make a block there. Good job by Kelly really picking up the first down.
One thing is, one rule I've come to know that if a Hillman is hobbling back to the huddle, they're staying in the game when they're playing. They are always out there.
They are tough, and they're leading this one 28-0. This time they turn and give it to Jaden Suggs. Forget the limp as he carries defenders all the way down to the 4-yard line. So much for the limp that he has as he goes from the 18 down to the 4. Just to your point, they're going to stay in the game and pick up 14 yards. 1st and goal, Hillman.
I'm sure his hero is the great Earl Campbell, who used to limp back to the huddle all the time and then run the ball in the next play. But how about my guy Jaden Suggs? I guess Joey Montoya heard my keys to the game, and he gives the ball to Jaden.
You know, he's got headsets on. I think he listens to you during the game.
He's got one ear on the assistant coaches, one ear on KAHI.
They fake it inside. This time Craycraft throws, and standing unattended in the end zone for the touchdown is Costa Alexic, his second touchdown of the night. A great play-action play. Craycraft stands, throws it in. Touchdown Hillman, and they lead at 34-0 with 7:52 to play here in the second quarter.
It was a great play-action play because the Costa was the only guy on the right side of the field, and the other guy who was closest to him was also a Hillman. So there were only 2 guys on that side of the field, and they're both Hillman.
Standing all by himself. The only thing he had to do was not stand out of bounds.
Yep.
He was wide open in the corner. So Jackson Ramirez will come on tonight for the 5th time to kick the extra point. Where's the number 53? Approaches it from the left side. Kick is up, and it is good. And it continues to be Placer's night tonight as they now lead at 35-0, Phantom.
And credit where it's due, 5 extra points, 5 good snaps by the Placer kicking team, and Joyner gets it down. Ramirez comes through, puts it right down the middle. 35-0, 7:52 to go, and I think that for Rio Linda, it doesn't change. They're going to come out and then try to get the small victories. Bonilla's going to come out, try to run an offense, try to make some good throws and move his team down the field. Yeah, they didn't score last time, but they had some things that worked out well for them. I think they're going to try to build on that.
Well, the passing game for the Hillman has really opened up as Craycraft has 3 touchdown passes tonight. Costa Lexic has 2 touchdowns. Baylor Kelly has caught 1 and run 1 in, and the offense has done exactly what they've wanted to do. The defense, for the most part, has been good. 4 out of 5 drives. They did convert a turnover on downs the last time. Placer will be kicking off. This kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. Auburn Trophies located at 1221 Grass Valley Highway in the Fiddler Green Plaza. Ramirez is up. The kick is up. It will be fielded at the 2-yard line. Waylon Morgan has it, and Morgan takes it up the right side. and he passes the 10, but he is knocked out of bounds at about the 12-yard line, and Rio Linda will again start the ball deep in their territory. There's been a lot of issues for Rio Linda tonight, Phantom. One of them has been the field position.
Absolutely, and it's not a good feeling when they receive the kickoff on the 2 and they look upfield and there's 5 Placer defensive players standing on the 15 waiting for you. So that can't feel good for the kick returner. But again, field position, that's part and parcel of what happened. I mean, if you can't move the ball, then obviously you're not going to have good field position, and you're always fielding kickoffs. So, I mean, I don't think the mission changes for the Knights right now.
For the Knights, the last time they had the ball, they actually moved the ball pretty well, got into Hillman territory. They turned the ball over on downs. Now they start off, they have it spotted actually at the 15 on the right hash. 2 receivers to the right, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Benia's the quarterback. 1st and 10. He'll take Mil Rio back to stand next to him. Fake to him, throw the quick hitter out, and it's a little bit behind the intended receiver, number 3, Jackson, who was going up the seam. He had a little bit of an opening, but the ball was thrown a little bit behind him.
Now, you've done a lot of quarterbacking in your day, Scott. Do you get the impression that he is throwing the ball to spots, or he's throwing the ball to players?
He's throwing the ball to spots. In fact, in that situation, the biggest thing a quarterback needs to decide is, when do I rifle it? And when do I put air underneath it? And right there, he actually steps up, and if he rifles it, there's a first down and a completion. But he's putting a little bit of touch on it. It's tough. He's under duress. He's outgunned. But, the good news for Rio Linda is they're actually having plays where receivers are breaking open. They're just not converting them off. So 2nd and 10, ball's at the 15. Benia will operate independently in the shotgun. This time he sends it. Oh, ball is down on the field. It is fumbled. He turned and gave it to Anthony Grawn, who was in motion, and it came loose, and it was recovered by the Hillman.
Again, one of those situations where the ball carrier doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage before contact is made. They tried a little bit of a change of pace, thought maybe the Hillman would be looking for the pass again, and it didn't fool anybody.
They've run that play twice now, Phantom, with Anthony Grawn, and the problem is it's been slow developing. By the time he gets it, the Placer Hillman defensive linemen are in the backfield. So now with another opportunity, with about 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter, Placer going left to right on your radio dial. They'll have the ball at the 11-yard line, leading this 35-0. Craycraft breaks, fakes it to Suggs, gives it to Baylor Kelly. Kelly's got a lane around the right side, and he's going to go into the end zone as he leaps in the end zone. And for the second time tonight, Placer gets the ball, turns and gives it to Kelly on a sweep.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Phantom, the route is on. They lead it 41-0.
And for the second time, I don't think there was any kind of contact until he got inside the 5-yard line. Just a well-conceived play, and kudos to the offensive line for giving Craycraft the time to go ahead and make those 2 fakes and hand it off to Kelly.
Placer looks really, really good tonight. 41-0. Jackson Ramirez on for the extra point. Joyner to hold. Snap is back, is down, kick is up, and it is good. And to your point earlier, all snaps have been good, all holds have been good, all kicks have been good. Right. With exactly 7 minutes to go, Phantom, it's Placer 42 and Rio Linda nothing.
And what they want to do, we talk about the San Jose game against Silver Creek all the time. They rode that wave into the next week against Vista. They want to do the same thing tonight. Whatever it is they're out here, they've accomplished a lot already, obviously, in less than a quarter and a half, but they want to go ahead and keep the momentum going, whatever they do. Now, we totally expect there to be a lot of substitutions. We'll see the next man up and stuff as this half and certainly the second half goes, but they want to kind of keep that feeling and keep that overwhelming feeling, if you will, and go ahead and carry that on, because league play starts next week, and it's Ponderosa, not considered one of the strongest teams in the league, but it's league play, and anything can happen.
Quick look at the Sierra Moon scoreboard, and Folsom going down to play De La Salle. They lead them 10-0 in the second quarter. Wow. That's good for the Sac Joaquin section. Jackson Ramirez on to kick. This kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. They can be found online at auburntrophies.com. Kick is up. It is fielded at the 2. That's Jackson. Jackson will take it up, tries to cut back up, and a penalty flag is on the play, but he got up to about the 21-yard line. That's where Rio Linda will take over, pending the result of the penalty.
And most of the time they've received kickoffs, they've taken it on one side and tried to run it back up the other side. That time, Jackson started to do that, and he said, I'm just going to go straight, and I think he got a better return out of it.
That's one of the things they teach you. Let's take a look at what the ref says here. Illegal block in the back, so that'll move them down half the distance, take it back to the 10-yard line. That's where Rio Linda will take over, which has been a problem. But it's one of the things they teach you when you're returning kicks is run to the middle, run to the wedge, because when you go to the wings, you're on your own.
And that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been going to the other wing. So it takes them a long time to get over to that wing. They're on their own, but they're also, the blockers are already, they've thrown their blocks, and they have to get up and try to make another one. And you pointed out a couple of times, not easy for a quarterback in his first start. They get this kind of field position.
1st and 10, 12-yard line. 6:52 to play here in the second quarter. It is all Placer. They lead it 42-0. Bonilla operates from the shotgun. He pulls a running back behind him, now in the pistol look. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Quick screen thrown out to Jackson. It goes through his hands. He tries to run before he caught it. That was a well-designed play. Would have picked up a couple yards, but falls incomplete.
Well, I'm a little surprised. Bonilla and Jackson have not been able to hit very well. Bonilla and Morgan were actually looking a little bit better. He hasn't gone to Morgan in a little while. And again, one of those passes where, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take 2 steps back. You're going to throw it out to the left side, and that's our play. It's easy to follow, and it should have been executed.
Quijada, the offensive coordinator for Rio Linda, actually had a good design there. They had linemen downfield to make the block. It was a wide receiver screen to the left. Jackson just tried to run before he actually caught it. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Ball's at the 12-yard line, center of the field. Rio Linda going right to left. This time Bonilla goes back to pass, throws it out. This time it's intended for his tight end, number 15, Jaden Sparrow, and it is off the top of his hand and falls incomplete.
One of those times where it looks like he threw it to a spot, and there was a guy at that spot who should have made that catch. So, I mean, it goes both ways. You got a quarterback making his first start. You got to help him out a little bit. You got to make the plays, and I think that's part of what Rio Linda is trying to work through. You know, coming in here with a 2-2 record and looking down the gauntlet at Placer, and then next week Dixon, and then next week Casa Roble.
One of the problems they have with these quick throws and incompletions is it doesn't run much time off the clock and allows the Placer offense to, with 3 timeouts and a 42-point lead, to get the ball back. So 3rd and 10, ball's at the 12-yard line. Again, Rio Linda going right to left. Bonilla is the quarterback. He's got 3 receivers set left, 2 to the right. It's been all Hillman. They leave it 42-0. Bonilla back to pass, steps up in the pocket, does a good job. This time he takes off. He's going to run and does a good job. He's brought down short of the first down marker. It'll bring up about a 4th and 2, and it looks like Rio Linda will punt.
Yeah, good open field tackle there by the Placer defender because Bonilla had some room. And the point you make earlier, Scott, about the Placer offense being ready to go, that means that the Rio Linda defense is not getting much rest every time their offense has the ball. Not time going off the clock and not a lot of time over there to sit down and catch your breath again before you have to come out and try to tackle Kelly and Alexic and the rest.
Nice job by number 51, Zachary Robinson, on the stop, and they send him back on the field. So it'll be Dash Chubbs back deep to return. Normally that's Isaiah Hanley. He's not playing tonight. We'll be back next week against Ponderosa. Timeout is taken on the field, this time by Placer. It looks like they might have had 12 players on the field. We'll go ahead and take the timeout with them with 5:53 to play here in the second quarter. Placer leads this one 42-0. You're listening to Placer Football on 104.5 FM and AM 950, the voice of the Foothills. Rio Linda was set up to punt. They actually tried the fake. It does not work. Jeff Freeman trying everything, but regardless, that means Placer will take over 1st and 10 deep into Rio Linda territory on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, maybe not the wisest thing to do, but maybe it's one of those what the heck moments. You know, what's it going to bother us? We might as well give it a shot, and maybe it's a play we can do later on, or maybe in this case it's a play we won't do later on.
Well, a lot of their 4th downs have been 4th and 13, 4th and 15, 4th and 20. That was a 4th and 5. They figured they might be able to get that. Regardless, Placer takes all over. This time they give it to the second man through, and he picks up about 2 yards. Looks like Enzo Gallo, number 20 on the carry for a pickup of 2.
So I expect to see a lot of Enzo Gallo and Fowler, maybe some Ian Reynolds as well. As Joey Montoya puts his guys in there, and they're going to get, as you point out, valuable game time reps.
Ian Reynolds had 4 carries for 25 yards against Silver Creek. He's in the backfield right now. This time Craycraft goes back to pass, throws it into the flat. The pass is caught. Sideline is exuberant. Making the catch on the play is Marty Lowenstein. Nice catch there. First down for Placer. And you talk about an excitement level on the sideline. Marty Lowenstein got them excited.
Marty Lowenstein's like Ferris Bueller. People are going nuts down there.
He did not run his route to pick up the first down, so it comes up at 3rd and 2. So it is Hawaiian shirt night. And maybe Lowenstein gets a free Hawaiian shirt if he gets another catch. We don't know.
Maybe they'll throw the next one to Tommy Bahama. You never know.
3rd and 2. This time they give it to the first back through. Check that second back through, and that is Landon Fowler. Fowler does pick up the first down yardage, takes it all the way down inside the 10, and it'll be a 1st and goal for Placer at the 5-yard line. Placer leading this one 42-0 with 4 minutes to play here in the first half.
Give Fowler credit. He could have been tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He shed a couple of tacklers that time and got the gain to put them down on the 6-yard line, but that was an excellent effort by Landon Fowler.
That was really, a lot of time you can credit the offensive line. That time you got to give credit to Fowler. They give it to Fowler again. It looks like he's got an edge there. Check that. That's Enzo Gallo, number 20, and he is knocked out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Good job. Nice seeing these guys get the carries and run the same basic. That's the thing, Scott. Run the same basic offense. Everything's the same. We don't know if they're making the substitutions on the offensive line as well. That's a little harder to tell. But it's nice to see Gallo and, like we said, Reynolds and Fowler get these carries.
Well, a lot of times you do in a situation like this is you leave the starting offensive line and the quarterback in, but you change up the skill guys so you can actually see what they can do with this kind of look. Full house backfield here. Send a player in motion. They turn, they give it. It looks like it's Costa Alexic, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. Check that. That's Nick Horn, number 8, actually on the carry. He took the part of normally Jaden Suggs from his fullback spot. It's now 48-0 Hillman.
Yeah, getting Nick Horn getting those defensive guys some offensive snaps, and they're looking pretty good. Nick Horn, as you said, you give the offensive line credit, give the runner some credit. Fowler and then Horn made a lot of those yards themselves.
Good job by Nick Horn here. Right now, it looks like they are a man short as Josh Maxwell jogs out onto the field. 3:06 to play. It's all Hillman leading this one 48-0. Xander Esty is told to stay on the sidelines. He's not needed. Jackson Ramirez on for the extra point. Max Joyner to hold. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. And Phantom, it is 49-0. Let's face it, it's nice to see guys like Nick Horn get carries from a fullback spot. Nice to see guys like Enzo Gallo get it. Landon Fowler. We got some new names that we're putting in there, but they're executing the offense very effectively.
Yeah, one of our keys was take care of business, but also improve. They're taking care of business by letting some of these guys that don't get a chance. And it'll be interesting to see, Scott, who we see on defense taking over for some of these guys. If Nicholas Horn's going to go play offense, who are they going to put out on the defensive side and let those guys get some licks in as well?
One quick check of the Sierra Moon scoreboard. Let's take a look at Ponderosa. The opponent of next week is taking on Casa Roble, and they are losing at the half 28-7. Casa, obviously, who the Hillman started this season with a very exciting victory in week 1.
And Casa has put together 3 wins since that day, including one over Lincoln. And they're taking on another FVO foe tonight in Ponderosa.
Jackson Ramirez kicks off. This kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. Auburn Trophies can be found at auburntrophies.com. And that ball is a live ball, is fielded by Morgan at the 2, and he takes a knee thinking he's in the end zone, and that is where Rio Linda will start their offense.
You don't see a lot of kickoffs go dead at the 1-yard line, but that's exactly what that one did. And if Jackson Ramirez can do that on command, he will find himself at Alabama or Oklahoma or somewhere like that.
We'll see Nick Saban in one of those nice suits on the sidelines. We'll find a lot of college coaches if you can pin people deep.
Will Nick come up and say hi to us when he comes out?
We'll get a third headset here.
I love that idea.
We'll have Stones set that up.
Stones, yeah.
Or did he take off?
I think
set us up. He just left.
I think he just might. Well, no, I think he's over at the concession stand.
Pizza over there.
Pizza over there, and he loves pizza.
Probably going to cancel my pizza with the opposing team.
No, I love that idea. We can talk about that. That's a great idea.
3:04 to play, second quarter. Placer 49, Rio Linda Knights nothing. They have the ball at their own 2-yard line. Bonilla, their quarterback, operates out of the pistol, takes a quick 3-step drop, throws it out in the flat. That ball falls incomplete. It was between two different receivers. Looked like he was going to Francisco Bonilla on the out route. He also had, it looked like Jackson in front there.
Jackson looks like he pulled up a little bit of lane there. He's hobbling over to the sideline. And, you get the impression, Scott, and you know better than I being a quarterback, they just need some more practice on these patterns. They just need to run them a lot more in practice and go ahead, because it doesn't seem like they're exactly on the same page with a lot of these. It seems like Bonilla has an idea where he wants to throw the ball, and not with somebody there.
You're exactly right. It seems like, you run the out, you run the curl, and they're not sure who's doing what and what, and they're looking at their wristbands. There seems to be some miscommunication. It's a building opportunity. They trail 49-0. It's 2nd and 10. Bonilla takes the snap. This time throws it quickly out, and it is through the hands of the receiver out there on the wide end. Number 16, Marquise Martin. That ball was a little bit low, but still should have been caught. Probably could have picked up a few yards after he caught it.
A little bit low, and he did have to slow down to make the catch. And when he did get up, he was probably going to have somebody coming up at him pretty quickly. But that's exactly what we're talking about. If you're going to, build this kind of offense, you've got to go ahead and execute these passes. And as you know, you're making a 10-yard in the air, a 10-yard throw. You got to make that 10-yard throw to give your receiver. Looks like some of these receivers have some moves. They just got to get the ball in their hands so they can try to make them.
The problem again with throwing 3 passes in a row and they all fall incomplete, the time of possession, they run less than a minute off and they give Placer the ball deep in their own territory. Placer already leads this one 49-0. 3rd and 10, 2 receivers left, 2 right, 1 in motion. Bonilla goes back to pass, rolls right, throws right, passes dropped off the hands out in the flat. That was a good throw to Waylon Morgan. It would have been short of the first down, but would have given the punter some room. That time, that's not on the quarterback. Did a nice job of flowing to the right, seeing pressure, throwing it out onto the right side, but Waylon Morgan could not reel it in.
Yeah, again, execute. You got your team out there. You know what you want to try to do. You've got a new quarterback. You've got to help him out, so you've got to go back. You got to go back on Monday and run routes and just ingrain that and make it second nature.
There's one thing you can scheme. A lot of people talk about, I draw plays. It's the execution part of the game. That's what makes Placer. They run the same offense, but they run it judiciously. Here's the punt. It's a pretty good punt back deep. Placer has nobody back deep to return. It takes a 9-iron kind of backdrop President's Cup hop, and it ends up coming dead at about the 14-yard line. So it's a net 4-yard punt.
Yeah, it looked
14.
Like the Knights were covering it very well, but it looked like when it bounced backwards, it kind of took them by surprise, and they started to follow it like it was a punt that it was rolling the other way, and it came out like you said, it came out like maybe like a 5-6 yard punt.
So they had the ball at the 2, they punted, and Placer will take it over at the 12, so that'll go down as a 10-yard punt.
Yes, it will.
Surprise, Josh Craycraft will jog out, leading 49-0, but here comes the Placer offense. 2:38 to play here in the first half, leading this one 49-0. Craycraft breaks the huddle, turns this time, gives it to Enzo Gallo. Gallo breaks the tackle, and he's got it all the way down to the 1-yard line. Gallo with his 3rd carry of the night.
It doesn't matter who's carrying the ball, Scott. What's consistent is the holes that we're seeing opened up in that Rio Linda defense. They are right there, and Gallo read those very well. I thought he was going to get himself into the end zone.
Number 80, Brenner Barnhart, checked into the game, ran over to the sidelines with Josh Craycraft as they high-fived, as now they have it 1st and goal at the 1. They pick up 11 yards on that play as the clock drips down below 2 minutes to play here in the first half. It is all Placer, 49-0 over the Rio Linda Knights. And you get the sense now that Joey Montoya is trying to figure out what to do up 49-0.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see who comes out at quarterback in the second half, because I think that Craycraft probably, unless they're going to have him out there just work on ball handling, something like that, is probably seen a lot. But Maxwell Joyner has been the backup, and you don't want to play him too much because he plays on defense as well. So we'll see if there's somebody else that they can put out there or just what Joey has in mind, as it looks like he's taking a delay of game.
Taking the delay of game to move it back 1:33 to play. I get the sense they might not try to score one more time, but we'll see. It's 1st and goal. Ball is on the 6-yard line. Let's see what they do. As you mentioned, the backup quarterback is Max Joyner, who's the holder, and they are just going to take a knee and take this into the locker room at halftime. In my opinion, a very classy move by the head coach at Joey Montoya here at Placer, as they're just going to take a knee, take their lead 49-0, and not score again. I'd be shocked if we see Craycraft or any of the starters in the second half in a game that has really been all Placer all the way.
And I think that the second half would be valuable to the Knights because they can go out there and say, okay, this is what we did in the first half. Obviously, they're a much more talented team, but we had plays we could make, and we've got to, if we want to be successful at all, we've got to make these plays. They'll come back out in the second half and try to do them again.
They've had some balls that have been dropped. They did have the one drive all the way down to the 35-yard line. They ended up not converting it. And getting a little chippy down there, and Placer trying to do the right thing, but on the defensive line spot, looked like Shane Wedland kind of shoved one of the Placer offensive linemen. He's been asked to go off to the side as Placer is jogging towards their locker room at halftime. In a first half that was all Placer, Phantom. They lead it 49-0.
Yeah, everybody got a chance to shine in that first half, and let's give them credit, Scott. When everybody got their chance, they stepped up and they took it. Gallo and Fowler and everybody stepped up. They had a shot, and they did the best with it.
Let's face it, Phantom, offense, defense, and special teams. They had touchbacks. They had good punt returns. Their offense executed the way they needed to. Multiple players got touchdowns. They got new players in the game. Craycraft has expanded his passing game. And really, Placer did what they needed to do against an overmatched Rio Linda in the first half. So we'll go ahead and take the halftime break right here. It has been all Placer from Lefebvre Stadium on the campus of Placer High School. Right now at halftime, it is the Hillman 49 and Rio Linda 0.
You're listening to Friday Night Football in the Foothills on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI.
Welcome back to Placer High School, Lefebvre Field, where the Placer Hillman lead this 49-0 at halftime. Scott Gordon, Mark Phantom Lowe, and Phantom for Placer, they came out and did everything they wanted to do and did it well. And the news just continues to get worse for Rio Linda. Placer will start off with the ball in the second half. The good news for both sides is there will be a running clock in the second half. But again, let's break it down. We talked to Jeff Freeman, as we mentioned, the head coach at Rio Linda. He's their 5th head coach in the last 12 months. He's trying to build the program.
Right.
He moved their quarterback from 2 weeks ago to left guard. He moved their running back from last week to left tackle. He's just trying to build the program. What he inherited, they just had a JV and a varsity. Now he's got 3 levels. He's trying to build.
Well, tell us, you told me before the game you talked to the former quarterback of Rio Linda and now the offensive lineman, Malik Lugar, and I thought it was really interesting what he said to you.
Malik Lugar, I had a chance to visit with him before the game. We were sitting there talking, and I said, what is it like to go from quarterback to offensive lineman? He's like, I just want our team to win and get better. And his attitude, Phantom, was as good as I've seen in any young man, and I can tell you his attitude will stay good in the second half. You know what they realize? Regardless of how bad they lose this game, they can still win their league and go to the playoffs.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what Jeff Freeman would want to hear with this guy giving an answer like that. That means that he is having somewhat of a good effect on his ball club.
So Rio Linda kicked off. They tried the onside kick. It went out of bounds. The kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. Auburn Trophies can be found at 1221 Grass Valley Highway in the Fiddler Green Plaza. So out comes Josh Craycraft, the junior quarterback, with 3 touchdown passes in the first half. Placer leading this one 49-0. They'll take the ball over at the 43-yard line in their own territory.
And as you say, it'll be interesting to see who the rest of the skill players are. Craycraft going behind center, but let's see who's behind him and split out wide.
Placer in their home green, white pants. Craycraft turns, gives it inside. That looks like Ian Reynolds, number 27, who had 4 carries against Silver Creek. That time he picks up about 6. I think we're going to see a steady dose of the run attack here in the second half.
Yeah, I think we'll see Reynolds, we'll see Gallo, we'll probably see Fowler again, and Josh Craycraft will just be back there trying to give those guys, trying to do what he does, work on his ball handling, and give those guys a good chance to get the ball clean and get into the line.
You can't understate it enough. That was a class move by Joey Montoya at the end of the half. They're up 49-0. They could have punched it in, gone up 56-0. He took the penalty. They kneeled down. Here they go, 2nd and 5. This time Craycraft goes back to pass, throws it out in the flat. Pass is completed at number 84, Jackson Graham, his first reception of the year. He's greeted on the sidelines by a whole host of what would normally be starters, and they are excited. So first down for the Hillmen.
Well, that's the thing we didn't talk about, Mikey, for the second half. I want to see more Marty Lowenstein. I want to see more number 14. He made one catch in the first half, and the roof blew off this place. So I want to see him back out there doing it again.
He is a fan favorite.
Yes, absolutely.
Craycraft this time turns, gives it inside. That looks like number 4, Landon Fowler. Fowler picking up 5 yards. If you listen close, Phantom, you can hear Louie, Louie. They're chanting down below to try to get him into the ballgame.
Of course they are. They want to get. Is that what Marty Lowenstein's nickname is now, Louie?
I think
like
so.
that. That's not a bad nickname. But what you saw right there is Fowler was the carry, but the offensive line was still doing exactly what they've been doing the entire game, which is opening the holes.
2nd and 4, 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. Placer leading it 49-0. This time they give it to Landon Fowler again. He picks up the first down, breaks the tackle at the 29-30. Now we've got a rugby scrum. They blow it dead at about the 26, and it's going to be all running plays and another first down by Placer.
Yeah, and let's see if they get, it's hard to tell, but let's see if they get some of the second team offensive linemen in there too. Get them in the rhythm of the flow and give them a chance to try to execute this Placer offense, because they'll be the guys doing it next year.
You do see number 72, Freddie Billings in. You're seeing some second teamers. This time the run goes inside to Ian Reynolds. So it's been Reynolds and Fowler taking the carries in the second half, pick up about 5. So a steady dose of 6 or 7 yards. The bad news for Rio Linda is the guys running the ball now are running just as hard as the guys were in the first half.
And like we said, then the holes that are being opened are just about as big as the holes in the first half. And those guys running the ball now are not the first team running backs, but they have a real nose for the ball.
2nd and 3, ball turned around, given up inside. It looks like Max Joyner. No, that's going to be number 8, Nick Horn, who actually scored a touchdown in the first half, and he's going to be close to the first down. They're going to give him to him. Ball is spotted at the 15, 1st and 10, Placer.
As you said, Scott, I expect a steady diet of running plays, and with maybe a short pass toss in there so we can get guys their first reception of the season, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's going to be Fowler, it's going to be Reynolds, and Nick Horn and others.
Jackson Graham with the 1 reception so far. Ball's on the right hash. Second back through this time is Enzo Gallo. Gallo is knocked down after a short pickup of about 2. Little cross play there, a little counter up inside. He picks up 2. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 8.
For one of the first times in this game, there were about 3 Knights defenders waiting for Gallo as he made his cutback. So a good job by them to get a little, as we talk about, small victories. You make plays. You get one play, hold them under 5 yards. That's a small victory.
Well, Placer scored on their first offensive play, a touchdown run by Baylor Kelly from 10 yards out. This time they give it to the little inside reverse, and the ball is down on the ground. It is a fumble. It's picked up by Rio Linda, and Placer has turned the ball over for the first time tonight, and that's something that head coach Joey Montoya is not going to like. Get a little bit too cute with the handoffs inside, and instead of punching it in, ball goes to the ground, and a turnover goes to Rio Linda with 7:38 to go. They will take it over, 1st and 10, the Knights.
Yeah, tough to see from our vantage point, or from my vantage point, if it was knocked out of the runner's hand or if it was part of the handoff and it wasn't a completed handoff. There was the entire intricate Placer offense running through there, so it was hard to tell where the fumble came from.
I think a lot of it was caused by the Rio Linda penetration defensively. So now Bonilla will take over at quarterback. He's been there all night. They got 2 backs in the backfield, 2 to the right. He turns, he gives it up inside. That is Daniel Murillo. Murillo picks up about 3 yards on first down, 4 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, he's become the workhorse for them, basically out of the backfield. And again, you're trying to put plays together, but whoever Placer's putting in there on the defensive line, they are still playing hard, and they're still going to make it really tough for Rio Linda to run the ball.
We thought we might see more of Anthony Grawn. They've gone to him a few times on that slow developing sweep play, but Murillo's really been the guy that they've given it to pound it if they want to.
Yeah, Grawn was the guy early on in the game, and he wasn't getting anywhere. They were really keying on him, and I think they tried to go away from him to kind of deflect some of the attention he was getting.
Knights have the ball in their own 32, left hash. They go right to left on your radio dial. Snap is back. They give it inside to, this time they do give it to Grawn, and Grawn is tripped up about the line of scrimmage. A good job defensively by the Hillman getting in there. It looks like he might have got a yard, or they're actually spotting him right at the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play. Bring up a 3rd and 7 for the Knights.
Yeah, and you get the feeling that Rio Linda just has to speed up, just has to execute what they're doing. Their passing plays, their running plays, as you mentioned. Every time Grawn gets it, it seems like a slow developing play, so it's got to be quicker hitting.
Ball's in the middle of the field, 32-yard line, 3rd and 7 for the Knights. 2 receivers right, 2 to the left, 1 back behind the quarterback. Pistol formation, receiver goes in motion. Back moved but wasn't called. Snap is back, quarterback over the middle. That ball is intended down the field. Looks like he's going to Jonathan Lara, but it was too high, incomplete, and Bonilla threw that one a little high, had a receiver running down the seam, but he overthrew him.
Yeah, but the disappointing part, I think, from Rio Linda's part is I don't think the receiver was really looking for the ball. Now, even if he was, it was overthrown, as you said, Scott. But I don't see, we've talked about it several times, they seem to be running routes that they're not really familiar with and not really sure when the ball will be delivered.
To your point, couple weeks of 7-on-7 practice in the routes and knowing exactly what they want to do, I think this will tighten up their passing game. So they'll be on to punt. Last time they went for the fake. This time they didn't. Gets the right foot into it pretty good. Again, Placer, nobody back deep to return. They had Dash Tebbs earlier in the game. Dash had a heck of a 30-yard return, which set up the first touchdown of the game, which Baylor Kelly ran in from 10 yards out. This one will just sit dead at about the 21-yard line, and that's where the Hillman will take over.
And a good series for the Hillman as they came out there with maybe some of the second-team guys, but did the same things the first team was doing, and kind of a discouraging series on the other side for Rio Linda because they didn't hit on a couple of plays that they could have hit on.
First 3 possessions of the game for Rio Linda, they went 3 and out. Not only did they go 3 and out, Phantom, they had negative yardage. It was kind of an inauspicious start. The very first snap of the game goes over the quarterback's head, and ball stops at the 1-yard line.
Right.
Craycraft gives it to the second back through. He'll pick up a yard off the left-hand side. He's taken down. Landon Fowler is the carrier. Picks up about 2. Check that. Placer starting off on their own 20, so the ball goes 21. Ball goes up to the 23-yard line.
Good defensive pressure, as we talked about Rio Linda doing earlier in the game. Their defensive line got a little penetration. They got that one in there as they were waiting for Fowler when he got the handoff.
Checking into the game for Placer, number 22, Tanner Soderman. First time we've seen him in tonight. 2nd and 8. Ball's on the left hash, 23-yard line. Craycraft turns, gives it inside. Actually went around the outside. That's Enzo Gallo, I think. And Gallo's going to take it all the way up to the 42-yard line. Not only that, but he finishes his run by knocking over the defensive back. A great run and a good finish there by Enzo Gallo.
We've seen that play with Kelly a lot this year already, Scott, and that was the time. First 2 fakes into the line, and Gallo came around the right side, and he got the ball. There's a lot of green between him and the goal line, and he got himself a big 20-yard gain. You
can say a lot of things about Josh Craycraft, but I can't tell who has the ball half the time. He does a great job. This time they give it inside to Reynolds, the first back through, and Reynolds picks up about 8, takes it out to about midfield, and now we got a little pushing and shoving after the play. You think Rio Linda's getting a little frustrated with the way this thing is going. It'll bring up a 2nd and 2.
Yeah, and that was Moralo, like you say. He's the guy who's running the ball. He's also playing on defense, and maybe there is a little frustration level, or maybe there's some words exchanged down there on the field, but nothing came of it.
2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Placer leading at 49-0. Craycraft under pressure. He turns, and it looks like he was going to try to give it to the second back through, but Rio Linda, for the first time tonight, really got great pressure and actually sacked and went in and did a great job. That was actually Arturo Zacharias, who used to wear the number 9 and play running back, is now wearing the number 55, and he made the stop.
Yeah, it's a great play by Zacharias. He got into the backfield, and Craycraft was making one of his several different handoff fakes or gives, we don't know, and Zacharias brought him down.
3rd and long. Craycraft play action. This time he throws it down the field. He's got a receiver. Great catch at the 30-yard line. And that's Brennan Barnhart, number 80 on the stop. Nope, check that. Looks like I got it wrong. 33, Valentino Aristudo on the catch. Great catch on the corner route. Play action. Good throw, good catch.
Yeah, Josh Craycraft has had guys open. He's had a couple of throws that are a little bit off tonight, but boy, are his receivers bailing him out. They're coming down with catches the entire game.
They're making catches that the other side's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside to Ian Reynolds. They check down, and he breaks the tackle. He's got it all the way down to the 18. Number 33 on the play before, that was Valentino Aristudo with his first catch of the year. That was a great catch. Corner route on 3rd and long.
Yeah, you make a great point. That's kind of contagious. You see one guy make a great catch, and you got everybody's laying out for that, and the patterns are getting the receivers open. The ball is a little bit off in a couple of these instances, but great plays by the Hillman receivers.
Reynolds again, first back through. He'll take it, and he's thrown down after a pickup of about 6 yards as we wind down the end of the 3rd quarter, one in which has seen no points and really a turnover for Placer when they were driving. 30 seconds to play here. 2nd and 5. Craycraft breaks the huddle. 2 backs behind him. Gives it this time to the second back through. That's Enzo Gallo. Gallo's up close to the first down, and that'll be inside the 5. Looks like he does have the first down. It'll be 1st and goal, and that should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. So as we wrap up the 3rd quarter, the score remains the same. It is the Placer Hillman 49, the Rio Linda Knights 0. Wait a second, we had a penalty flag thrown. Let's see what that is before we throw it to a commercial break.
It looked like the Hillman trying to get one more play up. It looked like one of the Knights linemen jumped.
And that will be the final play of your 3rd quarter with your score, Placer 49.
I think they're going to say the quarter ran out before the flag was thrown.
Touchdown, Hillman. Number 8, Nick Moore.
This is your home for Friday Night Football in the Foothills, 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI.
First play of the 4th quarter. Craycraft turns, gives it to Nick Horn. Horn breaks the tackle. He's in the end zone for a touchdown, and it is 55-0 pending the extra point as they take the ball on pretty much all runs, but they did have the good pitch and catch as they had 2 receptions there by Jackson Graham and Valentino Aristudo on the 3rd down. So left-footed kicker Jackson Ramirez on for his 8th extra point. Kick is down, it is up, and it is good. And Placer leads it with 11 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter, 56-0.
And nothing like reps, as we always talk about. And boy, that kicking game is getting all the reps they want. And Ramirez is automatic back there, putting it through, what is that, 8 times today now?
Came into the game 8 for 10 with extra points, and he's 8 for 8. So I went to Arizona, so it'll take me an inordinately long time to figure this out.
We've only got 10 minutes left, buddy. Come on.
I'm going to do some math here. So if you carry the 1, he is now 16 for 18 on the year on PATs and 2 for 2 on field goals.
That's well done. Those field goals were huge for the Hillman earlier in the season. You know, it's funny. You've got the 3 really, really tough games, and then you've got 2 really easy games, the way it's played out so far for the Hillman in their preseason. But I think they've learned something from each and every one of those games, be they hard or easy. And what we're getting out here today is everybody's stepping up, and everybody who gets a chance. You know, it doesn't matter which running back is out there. They're really hard to bring down.
The effort level has been the same regardless of the opponent, and that's what a good program and team has. So Ramirez on to kick. The kick is up. This kickoff is brought to you by Auburn Trophies. That can be found at auburntrophies.com. Ball is fielded by Jackson at about the 10. He goes up about the 20, dances his way to about the 25, and that's where Rio Linda will take over.
He doesn't try to go across the entire field. He went straight to the sidelines and got a pretty decent return out of it.
And from about the 20 to the 25, he kind of jiggled and danced his way for the last 5.
Yeah, he did jiggle and dance. Kind of like you at a wedding reception, maybe. Just
Oh, I just wait till the train comes and then follow that around to the bar.
The whole conga thing.
Yeah, that's the only time I get out there.
Yeah,
slow dance, uncomfortable
The conga
circle.
line is the wave of the wedding reception.
It really is.
It is.
Yeah. At least it's not the Macarena, though.
No, hey. I mean, whatever brings people together. That's what I'm for.
25-yard line. That's where Rio Linda will take over. They've got the ball 1st and 10, right hash. 2 running backs are behind Bonilla. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. He takes the snap, turns, fakes it, throws it out. That could be a lateral. They're going to say it's an incomplete pass. That time he looked like he was faking it to his running back. His running back ran into him as he was trying to throw it out to Waylon Morgan, the wide receiver.
Yeah, and I'm maybe putting a little bit too much emphasis on this, but to me, for Rio Linda, it is really important to string together a couple of positive offensive plays in this last 8.5 minutes we've got in this game to get them ready, because Dixon is tough next week. Casa is beating the pants off of Ponderosa right now, so they're tough. So they've got tough games coming up.
Placer leading 56-0. They led 42-0 at the half. They've done it in all 3 phases of the game. 2nd and 10 for Rio Linda with about 8 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Bonilla back to pass, steps up, fires, complete over the middle. A good little pitch and catch. That's Jonathan Lara on the reception. 1st down. Nice job of stepping up that time by Bonilla, and a nice catch over the middle, a little seam route.
Yeah, that middle route has been open a couple of times. Usually they're not able to make the connection, but that route was open. And again, the back and the flat was open on that route too, so we'll see if they come back to that.
Landon Fowler, number 4, still in the game. He's the one that actually made the stop. Rio Linda with the ball, right hash, 42-yard line. Bonilla operates from the pistol, back to pass. He's going to roll right. He's under pressure. He's just going to tuck it and run, try to run over the defender. It doesn't work for him, and he's thrown out of bounds. But he did pick up about 5 yards. He's knocked out of bounds by number 20, Enzo Gallo, on the stop.
Yeah, and you don't want to see your quarterback do that, but you really kind of want to see your quarterback do that when you're a team that's trying to find something to rally around. Bonilla could have easily stepped out of bounds. Instead, he took on the defender.
He picked up 6 yards, did a nice job, made a decisive decision to run with it, and actually finish the run, and that really fires up the offensive line when they see a quarterback make a play like that. Ball's up to the 46-yard line, 2nd and 5, Rio Linda. Ball's on the right hash. They go left to right on your radio dial. 2 receivers left, 3 to the right. Bonilla's all by himself. Takes the shotgun snap. He rolls right. He's going to run again. And this time he gets taken down from behind about a yard short of the 1st down. Should be spotted right around midfield. Brought down on the play by number 51, Zachary Robinson.
Easy to see. That time he kind of went to the run a little bit quickly, and if I'm Rio Linda, I want him to go ahead and concentrate on trying to find somebody and throwing the ball. Now, obviously, he made the 1st down, so it was a good decision on his part, but you don't want him to pull that down too early and take off.
2 1st downs now. He did pick up the 1st down, and sometimes a quarterback can get that, that run was fun to do. I think I'm going to keep doing it. All it takes is getting lit up one time, and then you decide you need to stay in the pocket.
Yeah, it was
3 receivers left. Bonilla back to pass. He's going to throw on the route, and it is almost intercepted on the play. Doing a nice job defensively is Kiefer Abbs. It was a post route, double covered, and really the best person who had an opportunity to make a play on it was Kiefer Abbs. We saw this in the Silver Creek game when Landon Fowler had a couple opportunities for interceptions, and he didn't get them. He was pretty disappointed.
And that time it looked like Bonilla just laid it up. He was giving his receiver a chance to work against the defensive backs, but it didn't look like the receiver was really hip to that play because he didn't really go up and try to make a big play for the ball.
It also looked like Bonilla predetermined where he was going to throw it. There was 2 defenders in the route.
Yep.
5 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Placer leads this one 56-0. Rio Linda with the ball at the 49-yard line. 2nd and 10. Ball spotted on the right hash. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Bonilla throws. This time it is caught, but immediately falling down is Jackson. So he might have gotten a yard if he'd been able to keep his feet. He might have been able to pick up 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, that's a play they've been trying to do all night, Scott, and that time they actually pulled it off, but the receiver fell down as he was making his break. The ball was delivered perfectly, and the completion was made, but no yards gained.
In the first half, they actually had Jackson where he would have got for a few yards, and he ran before he caught it, and that time he actually fell. So that's a play that's going to work for them down the road.
Yeah, they just got to kind of work the kinks out of it.
3rd and 10. Ball spotted on the left hash. Rio Linda fake the handoff. Bonilla back to pass. Throws it over the middle, making a jumping catch at about the 35. A great catch as Waylon Morgan goes up, high points the catch, picks it up at the 35-yard line all the way down to the 32. This is the deepest penetration of the night for Rio Linda. One thing to keep in mind, last year's final score was 56-0, and you know how Placer players are. This is in the back of their head right now as it scores right now 56-0.
Yeah, and that was probably the best play, I think, by a Rio Linda player tonight, that catch that he made going up and getting it for Jonathan Lara.
Bonilla operates from the shotgun. One back to his left. Rolls to his left, throws to a receiver in the flat. It is complete. It is Morgan again, and he catches it about the 10 on the corner route, and he's taken all the way down to the 5, and they now have the ball inside the 10-yard line, down to about the 7. It'll be 1st and goal for Rio Linda.
Yeah, we talked about it a little while ago. This is a huge drive for them to put points up on the board in this game. They've been working out here, working hard all night. They need to get something to show for it. A couple of really good passes right there, and they're down inside the 10.
That was a great throw.
Yeah.
Corner route rolling to the left. 1st and goal, 7-yard line. They operate from the shotgun. Going back to pass again. Bonilla's got time. Throws it over the middle, and that is picked off. And we are going the other way on the interception. He waded and threw it deep down the middle, and that is picked off. And looks like making the play on the, looks like Dominic Laidlaw, I think. Check that, number 13, Arthur Kernax with the interception. He's got a touchdown catch on the night.
What a night for Arthur.
Arthur's had a big night. A touchdown catch and an interception, and that's one of those things. If you're Bonilla as a quarterback, you have time. It's 1st down. If you don't have the receiver you want, you throw it out the corner of the end zone, and you live to fight another day.
But as you were saying, he's had success on 2 real good passes in a row. He thinks he's on a kind of a roll. He wants to make something happen.
Just 2 minutes left to play. Give it to the second back through. I think that's Landon Fowler. And he picks up about 7 or 8. Should be about 3 or 4 more plays, and this should be it. As Placer has been dominant, up 56-0 with less than 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, we still see all the same hard running from Placer, so I think maybe they get a 1st down on this, or maybe even if they don't, I think they might go to that victory formation that we saw in the 2nd quarter.
Jackson Graham, who has a catch on the game, checks in, and they are going to go to victory formation right now. So what an exciting win. This is a football team last year that opened 0-5.
Yep.
Made a good run and went 4-1 in league, made the playoffs, but they are about to run their record to 5-0 in a very impressive fashion, a 56-0 win for the 2nd year in a row over Rio Linda.
And an all-inclusive win, too, as we've talked about. We said a lot of names today that we've never said before or just said once or twice, and we've been able to say them tonight, and they've been out there and they've been, worthy of being talked about because they've been shining.
Made some great catches. Let's face it, the passing game looked pretty sharp tonight. They've done it in all 3 phases, special teams, offense, and defense. They've just really been dominant. The effort's been unsurpassed even by the second running backs that went through. Ian Reynolds came in. Then Enzo Gallo had some good runs. They've done just a great job. 48 seconds to go. This will be the final snap of the game. Placer will run their record to 5-0 with a 56-0 win.
Yeah, and they've been able to give guys rest. They come off a bye, and Hanley took another week, and he'll be fine for next week. A couple of guys, Lexick and Kelly, just playing the first half, and Suggs as well, so they'll be fresh to go when they start league play next week against Ponderosa.
Man, you make a great point. As the clock winds down, we get to our final seconds. They have a bye after a huge win over Vista. They get healthy. They get a huge win tonight, and they start league play next week. Healthy, feeling very confident about their offense with more players that now can make plays for them.
Right, and Ponderosa comes in a little shell-shocked over the game against Casa tonight, so everything is setting up perfectly for the Hillmen to take this great start and take it into league play.
And it is official. The game is now over. Placer, that led 42-0 at halftime, has won this one 56-0. We'll be back with the post-game show and our final thoughts. You're listening to Placer Football on 104.5 FM, AM 950, the voice of the Foothills.
At all times, it is great to be Hillman.
Placer runs their record to 5-0 with an impressive 56-0 win over Rio Linda. Scott Gordon alongside Mark Phantom Lowe, and really Phantom from the get-go. They won the coin toss, and they won in every other facet of the game as well.
Yeah, about 5 minutes after they won the coin toss, the Rio Linda centered the ball over the quarterback's head, and the route was on. We talked about, keys to the game. A couple of those keys, one of them was, take care of business but improve, and I really think they did that tonight. And the other thing, the offensive line of Rio Linda was the part of their strong point, so to speak, coming in, and I think Placer, especially in the first half, totally dominated that.
Well, it was nice. We called some normal names. Baylor Kelly had the first touchdown run. We saw Jaden Suggs with a big run. We mentioned Josh Craycraft throwing it to Josh Maxwell, but we also called some new names as Arthur Kernex and Dash Tebbs made some big plays tonight as they were playing without Isaiah Hanley. As you look at the team as a whole going into league play, you've got to feel really good if you're head coach Joey Montoya. You are now 5-0 as you head into league, and next week they open against Ponderosa.
Yeah, you got to feel really good, and Joey Montoya, I think, has got, last year he dealt, as we talk all the time about, with the 0-5 start. This year he's got the 5-0 start. Now, he's dealt with the 5-0 start before. He knows what that means. And, Scott, we talk to him all the time. He is so high on this team. He is so high in this team's ceiling. He doesn't think they've reached it yet, and to my mind, I think he thinks that they know that, and they are still trying to reach it. So they haven't, they haven't rested on their laurels at all so far this season. I don't think there's any danger of that. So he is genuinely excited about this team and what they can accomplish in the next 5 games and beyond that as well.
We look forward to talking to him Tuesday night as we have our coaches show, KAHI coaches show that you and I do every week. We'll have Coach Montoya on, and I still remember the very first practice I went to. He had the straw hat on. He came over, he introduced himself to me, and he said, "We have some weapons. We could be good this year." And so far, you and I have been impressed. They've won in every facet and every which way that they can.
Yeah, and I remember the first practice I went to, he came over to me and he goes, "You're going to have to leave." And so that didn't go that well.
They tow your car?
They didn't tow my car. I got out there before that, but he did not want me around. We've worked it out since then. And I think that we're kind of in a good place.
From a distance, though.
We're kind of in a good place right now, and I'm going to kind of leave it like that.
Well, on that note, Phantom, thanks for another great call, and we want to thank Chris Quant back in our studios for helping us. Stones actually got us on the air today. For Scott Gordon, Mark Phantom Lowe, we're signing off. The Placer Hillmen win this one 56-0. They run their record to 5-0. Join us on Tuesday night for the Wednesday, we tape it on Tuesday, the KAHI Coaches Show, and then next Friday night it'll be league play as Placer Hillmen take on Ponderosa. You're listening to Placer Football on 104.5 FM and AM 950, the voice of the Foothills.
Thank you for joining KAHI for tonight's game. We'd like to thank our sponsors who support Hillman football. Depot Bay Coffee, Keith Thomas State Farm Insurance, the Roseville Auto Mall, Mackey Heating and Air of Auburn, Meritage Auto Care, Mills Diner of Auburn, Robinson Sand and Gravel, Sierra Moon in Old Town, Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, Auburn Ford, and Auburn Trophies. We'll see you next Friday for Hillman football on KAHI.
my toes, let the weather go. It's been a long wait in bed. Say what? We blow. Let's go.
One play, one run, touchdown Hillman. They lead 6-0.
Everything wrong should
Craig Kraft turns, gives it up inside. That's Costa Alexic. Alexic breaks the tackle at the 15, breaks the tackle at the 2, and goes into the end zone for a touchdown. Hillman break the huddle. Craig Kraft steps back to pass on 2nd and short. He's throwing it to the corner of the end zone. He's got a man. He's open. He makes the catch. We've got a touchdown, Hillman. Play action. He throws it downfield, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off coming back the other way. Who made the play, Phantom? I got it. It's Carson Young. Craig Kraft, play action. They're throwing again. He's going to throw the ball deep. Flag is down on the play. Baylor Kelly makes one heck of an adjustment and makes the catch.
To forget the code, let the wind blow.
Great play call this time. Craig Kraft, play action again. Go back to a similar play. Coming out and making a heck of a catch down the side is Dash Tebbs.
Everything wrong should be right.
Inside to Ian Reynolds. They check down and he breaks the tackle. He's got it all the way down to the 18. Craig Kraft breaks. Fakes it to Suggs, gives it to Baylor Kelly. Kelly's got a lane around the right side, and he's going to go into the end zone as he leaps in the end zone. And for the second time tonight, Placer gets the ball, turns and gives it to Kelly on a sweep.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Phantom, the route is on. They lead it 41-0. Third and long. Craig Kraft play action. This time he throws it down the field. He's got a receiver. Great catch at the 30-yard line. This time Craig Kraft goes back to pass, throws it into the flat. The pass is caught. Sideline is exuberant. Making the catch on the play is Marty Lowenstein. Nice catch there. First down for Placer. And you talk about an excitement level on the sideline. Marty Lowenstein got them excited. First and goal, 7-yard line. They operate from the shotgun. Going back to pass again. Benia's got time. Throws it over the middle, and that is picked off.
That's intercepted by number 13, Arthur Kurnak.